Happy birthday, it's Yoko.
She's been translated. Her work has been in 90 collections. She's read to thousands of eager students. This Budge has so much energy.
Happy birthday, Nana.
Happy birthday, Budge.
He would have a godfather. He'd be in line for a godfather if he weren't so darn old. Please welcome our local Batman, the enigmatic, compelling, charismatic, appropriately flirtatious, and finally famous John Duntray.
This is not my evening. I'd like to perform for you, tell some jokes, stand on my head, do that kind of thing, but tonight is a night to celebrate one of Canada's treasures, Budge Wilson. And there's very, very little. How many people here have seen and read the Budge book? You haven't? Oh, wow. Well, our family has been privileged. How many people here have read Budge Wilson's stories? Well, there you go. There's very little I can say that can make you love her more. I was trying to collect some stories tonight to get a little bit of dirt on her. But she worked here in this building. Years and years ago when she was 16, she went into the washroom on the left there and she said, "This is where the coat check was." And she was the coat check girl. She had a powerful crush on Roy Harnish, I'm told. Yeah, good old Roy Harnish. This is his place. And we are in history right here. You people here tonight are creating something that is very special in this place. Thank you. Budge, would you like me to bring this over to you, or would you like to come here?
It's always kind of tricky getting mics ready for me and podiums and things because I'm so short. I've known many occasions when, in panic, people have to rush out and get boxes for me to stand on. This one is pretty good. Mind you, there's almost no light, but
We are in history right here.
Thank you so much for the decades of wonderful writing you have shared with so many people. You have touched lives. Wishing you the happiest of birthdays.
You can't find. You just press that little button and it'll say.
You want to know what time it is?
Yeah. He's got a cell phone.
Do you have glasses?
Do I have glasses? There's a lot of old people before.
6:59.
6:59. We have another minute before we have our delicious lunch to introduce the workshop leaders for this weekend. And maybe you could hold your applause till the end, but they could stand. There's Lorna Crozier, poet.
Hi, diction sounds boring. It's going to be better than that.
Mark Lefebvre, suspense short story writer and director of Kobo Writing Light. Patrick Lane, poet and memoirist. Say that again. Chris Taylor, romantic suspense. Ta-da. Acclaimed contemporary and historical romance, New York Times today. Deborah Hale, historical romance and fantasy. And Errol Sharp, local owner of Fernwood Publishing and presenter on Milton Acorn, the People's Poet. I'll have you ready for supper. Peter, are you going to play some more music for us? I'll sing if you like. I'd like everybody to lift your glasses for a toast to Pat Thomas. I met her a year ago. She told me what was going to happen, and I couldn't believe it, and here it is. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Eat hearty, folks.
Hearts. The busiest decades of my life were my 50s, 60s, and 70s, said Budge. That's when I published most of my books, did so much traveling, had so many adventures. I sat there, 55 years old, with my first book finally published, heart humming with delight that an author's life could start late and just keep gloriously willowing the rest of my life. And sped by, and suddenly it was lunch. Did you bring a bagged lunch, as I mentioned yesterday, she asked. I had agreed with her that it was the easiest thing to do, to bring my own lunch, so we could keep on chatting uninterrupted by meal preparation. Yes, I did, I answered, and I pulled out a bag from my big purse, unwrapping the sandwich therein. Would you like a drink with lunch, she asked. A beer, a glass of wine, a gin and tonic. Oh, I would have loved that, just to relax and talk to Marjorie Budge Wilson, writer to writer, not journalist to author being profiled. But I didn't want to get too relaxed, and I did want to do a crack-up job on the profile for her. Reluctantly, I declined the drink.
Happy birthday, Budge.
Happy birthday, Budge. You changed my life when at about 40 years old you told me I had plenty of years worth writing in me yet. And obviously you're a role model. Many more.
And thank you so much for inspiring me with your stories, but more importantly for being such an amazing listener.
Budge does such a great job of bringing our Nova Scotia, bringing us out of the page. And I just love relationships you have in your books with mothers and daughters and husbands and wives and friends. And so there's a little nudge in here too of that. It's just a page and a half. And it's beautiful writing. As Silver Donald said, she's a hell of a writer. I remember well the day he came. It was autumn, which starts early in Nova Scotia and is always for me a time of joy and bitterness. The onset of winter is hard to accept after a summer that is so short and a fall that is so brilliantly beautiful. And in some parts of the province, winter can seem as forever as dying. Did I just say winter can seem as forever? As early as the second week in August, my mother would say, "I feel fall in the air," and my heart would lurch a little. It was late September, and some of the low-lying bushes were already scarlet against the black of the evergreen forest. Dried flowers waved stiffly against the blue of the bay, but the gulls were acting as though nothing had changed, as though sailing above on the wind currents were enough for them now and for always. It had been a bad day for me, and the splendor of the afternoon rebuked me. Beauty can be an aching thing when you are unhappy, and I've always welcomed fog and rain, or better still, a storm, when I'm sad. Otherwise, I can feel a pull back to balance. And misery for me has always been half in love with itself. The reasons for my depression were not dramatic. No one had died. The house had not burned down. I hadn't failed a test in school or lost a boyfriend. But I was 15, a time of limbo for me, and a period of trigger-happy nerves. Neither child nor woman. I wanted to be both, and sometimes neither. For one thing, I longed to adorn my mother again, but she irritated me almost beyond endurance with her obsession with food and cleanliness and good behavior, and with her refusal to listen to what I was or was not saying. I wanted her to see right into my head and heart and to congratulate me on their contents. Instead, she ignored or misconstrued or misdirected even the things I said aloud. For instance, that morning, I had said to her, "Mom, it's such a divine day. I'm going to take the boat out to Crab Island and just sit on a rock and be me all day long." To which she replied, "You can be you right here in the kitchen this very minute and help me defrost the fridge." I would love to have the whole stack of all the books and read you a piece of each one. Thank you.
That I have prevailed upon her, and Yoko Araki, who has come all the way from Japan for this wonderful event, has consented to come up and say a few words.
First of all, happy birthday, Budge. I'm very glad to be here today and talking a little bit about me and Budge. I just want to thank you very much. But I and my family, and of course my little Marie, we all love you.
Well, as you know, Budge Wilson's stories have been translated into 14 different languages and have been read all over the world. And aren't we lucky to have her? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbara.
I don't even know if she knows the influence she's been in my life. I'm from Ontario. I have no family here at all. And watching her and Alan together has been very inspirational for me to see two people who've been together so long, still in love like teenagers, still so full of respect and admiration for each other. It just warms the heart and it gives all of us hope.
Happy birthday, Budge. You're such a delight. It was such a lovely evening to have you here tonight. You've just been in my heart and my family, and I've known you for so long, but I do love you, and it was just a lovely, lovely, lovely evening tonight. Happy birthday.
Sweet vale of the Volga, how come could I rest in thy bosom of shade with the ones I love best? Where the storms that we feel in this cold world should cease, and our hearts like thy waters be mingled in peace, and our hearts like thy waters be mingled